And despite creating your application with CRA, still if you want to work with some of the Webpack tools or Babel compiler individually, you are allowed to do that because that's already included. CRA sets up it all. Now, what do you think? If there is no CLI, would we be having the development server available here for React, just like what we had with Angular? React doesn't come up with its own development server at all. It depends on the development server provided by NPM. Right? So though React doesn't come up with its own server, that's not a point to worry. The NPM package manager basically allows us to use its own development server for hosting and testing your React applications. Also, to build the production ready code as well. So you can see once the command is completed, it shows you several usage of npm command. Npm start for starting the development server. Just like for Angular we had ngserve, here we can directly say npm start. Npm run build compiles your application into static files for production usage. Npm test runs the unit test runner, and npm run eject basically removes this tool CRA itself. Right? And copies the build dependencies, config files, scripts into the app directory itself. Once this is done, there is no undo option that we have. So usually we will be working with npm start. If you are looking for unit testing to be done, npm test, and for final deployment in your CI/CD somewhere you will be using npm run build also to create the build for the production. Now, the suggestion at the end also is interesting. We suggest that you begin by typing cd react demo first app npm start. We will be doing exactly the same. cd react demo first app. Here if I see what all things are there, some of the similar structure that we had with Angular. We do have node modules, all dependencies going into this, the metadata of which is in package.json, and then there is a folder called as public within which the public dependencies are placed, and src wherein all of our source code files are placed. Here we say npm start. It serves similar purpose as ngserve. It says the default port which is configured for React applications, port 3000, is busy. The good part is npm start is smart enough to detect that the default port is busy, and hence it gives us the choice if you want to run your application on another port. We don't have any choice. For now, we have to say yes. It will randomly select some other port number and will start your development server on it. So it says my implementation is running on http://localhost 13137. From network, if it needs to be accessed, this is what I should be using. right? So let's copy any one of these two. Go to the browser, open a new tab and paste this. This is what we have got by default. Yes. Yes, everybody? Done till here?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so now what it has got, to check that, what we'll do is we'll go to VS Code and open the folder representing our application. So for me, it's ND drive, desktop backups, March 2021, Providence 7, demos, and this is the folder. React demo first tab. I select this, select folder. Structure is there. Public all the static files, including your startup file index.html. You have here. Here you can see there is a div with ID equals to root. This is what we will be targeting, within which our React content will be injected. Understood? Images, assets, everything will come in this public folder only. Just like with MVC, we saw that www folder. Public folder here serves the same purpose. Do you get that? Package.json is all about the dependencies. So again here, if you are going to use some global scripts or global CSS files, the configuration can be put into this. And then we have src, within which we have some content, like here we have index.js, which actually is the entry point. Remember, in index.html there was a div with ID root, and I said we will be targeting the same. Can you look at this statement and relate to that? We are saying create the root for React DOM, targeting the element by ID root. So it is that div with ID root, where we say root.render. What needs to be rendered inside this? We say it is app. What is app? App is one of the main component, whose definition seems to be there in app.js. By default, create React app application creates the JavaScript based definition. You can actually use the language attribute to create your application with TypeScript definition as well. React doesn't say that my code should be JS or TypeScript. You can have JS code, you can have TypeScript code, whichever you prefer. If you are expert in TypeScript, you can say that please create my React app using TypeScript. Here this is JavaScript, so that's okay. We will be using JavaScript for now. Okay. So some similar features like import, because ultimately it comes down to JavaScript only. So definitely importing from other libraries, packages will remain the same. This is ECMA standard actually, ECMAScript standard, right? And then some mixing of JavaScript and HTML I do see here. No quoted strings, which means the parser support is there. There will be less chances of the typos and errors because of the typos. Do you get that? Let's go to app. We are importing app and injecting it here, right? So what this app is, let's see. Here is the component called as app.js. It is also importing some static components like logo.svg, app.css. Here, if you see app.css is here only. Logo.svg also is there at the local space. If it is in public, the path can be changed accordingly. As anyhow, this is relative path only. This implementation is function based. So practically here we are creating a class called as app as a React application. It has got a return function. I said each React component needs to have a render function into it. This function, which is directly going to be composed based on the return statement, will be treated as a replacement of render function. Ultimately, what render contains? Some HTML. There is a div, there is a header, there is an image, there is a paragraph, there is an anchor tag, and there is some text learn React. So if you go to the browser, this is what you are getting because of it. Yes? What does it mean? If I say there is no code here, header to header, I just delete everything. Save back. It's already refreshed. It's blank. And if I put something of my own, see, proper IntelliSense support is also there. Style equals to, I say, here is slash h1 and here the text goes. This is my first React JS application. Okay, style is having the problem here. There is a different way of implementing it. This should be working. Yes. Yes. Getting the output.
He's putting all these things. Yes, Saket.
Okay. Anyhow, we have the style.css also, the CSS file app.css, wherein we can create a class and that we can use here. Right. So maybe I can just say there is a class header. Wanted the color as green and it's already integrated into my JSX. App.css is imported here, so I can just say class name equals if and it's done. Right, so there is a different syntax for inline styles. It takes time to get used to that, because usually if we are coming up with HTML background, we are more used to working with the HTML syntaxes there, right? Yes. So one thing for sure here, you can understand that React is entirely component based. App is the component over here, which is ultimately integrated with index here, and from here it is getting pushed into index.html, and ultimately that's where we are getting the output. Yes or no? The main application CSS is there in index.css. Then the component CSS inherit from this. This itself might be inheriting from Bootstrap also if Bootstrap is installed. If not installed, that's okay. You may be using your own CSS in that case, or maybe instead of Bootstrap, you might be using some other theming. Right? So it is going to depend entirely on overall configuration that you are going to place.
Okay.
Yes.
In app.js, we're using some class names such as app and app header, right?
Yes.
Where are this? Like, are these class names like Bootstrap class names, or are they defined anywhere?
App and header, right? Header I just wrote.
Yeah, but
App.
previously they used.
Yes. So if you see app.css, here is the class defined. It's not in Bootstrap. These are all local classes defined in app.css only. Overriding some of the Bootstrap things here and adding some of the new things over here. So media queries, if you see, keyframes, if you see, these are all overridden versions of Bootstrap stuff if Bootstrap is integrated. Otherwise, it's a new definition right from scratch. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay, so here now we'll go for another application which will be actually communicating with our department's API. So proper end-to-end application we are going to create here. So let's close this folder. How do we start? It will start with creating a new application, right? So here I say Control C. You can see the Webpack compiler Babel is also being used. Either you do it yourself or let the create React app do it. I say cd dot dot to go one level back, and here I say create React app, React hyphen demo and API client, all small letters. Okay, so it's done. Let's get into the directory. Cd react hyphen demo department API client and say npm start. Maybe before that I can say please install Bootstrap. So npm I Bootstrap. As we are going to use Bootstrap in this project as well, right? And then you can say npm start. I say yes, as my port 3000 is busy somewhere. In fact, one more package I would like to get installed. We installed the plain Bootstrap. There is a version of Bootstrap custom made for React as well. So let's install React dash Bootstrap as well. React Bootstrap inherits from Bootstrap only. And once this is done, I'll once again say npm start. Okay, so it's done. I'll just get this URL copied and pasted here. Okay. Now, one problem is if I restart the application, it's not guaranteed that it will run on this port only. So how do I set a specific port on which I want my application to start every time? There must be some configuration, right? Let's close this. Let's stop the server. I want the port number 5555 to be used every time when my application starts. If 3000 is set somewhere, definitely I should be able to configure it as well at my end. So for that reason, first of all, I open the folder here for the new application that we have created. D drive, desktop backups, March 2021. Providence 7 demos, and there we have React demo department API client. Select folder. There is an environment variable which basically sets the port number as well. So for that you have to go to package.json. Already the environment variable called as start is there. Npm start when is called, basically this is what that this is the command that runs. If you say npm build for production build, this is the command which build or runs. So React scripts is the command. Start React scripts, start. Here itself, before React scripts command, I want to set the port number as well. So I say port equals to 5555. That's what we decided, right? Space React script start. Save this, and again I say npm start. So by default it has detected. Okay, it says port is not recognized. Let me see if some format has got changed. Let me use set save npm start. This should have worked. Just one moment. Start. Set port is correct command. Start. Yeah, this looks to be working. Starting the development server. Let's see on which port it comes up. Okay, done. And here I get the confirmation it's running on the port that I have configured. Right? This is what we have added. Set space port equals to the choice of port number. Any port between 1299999 can be used here. Space ampersand space React script start, where earlier we had only this command. These are two different commands. That's why ampersand is required in between in order to run them jointly along with npm start. Is that clear? Yes. Now my application is running on port number 5555. Let me see if it still gives me the output. Yes, I want to clean up all this. Where do I clean up this? I close package.json, go to src. Our stuff is there in app.js, right? It is the app.js which contains the initial stuff for me, which I want to clean up. Here we don't have HTML files at all. Correct? Let me remove all the stuff between header to header. I just leave the default dev class name app over here. Everything else I delete, save, and let's have a look at the browser. It's all cleaned up. Let's close this file and set up some initial configuration over here, starting with index.html file. There is one dependency which I want to set up there. Just one simple configuration. So where is index.html file located? Public index.html. Right? Find out this Apple Touch icon. Just before that, here I mentioned there is one more meta tag. In fact, not meta tag. There is a tag called as base. Attribute href being set to an environment variable represented by % underscore URL %. And I self close this tag. This basically holds my base address of the web application. So whatever it is, http://localhost:5555, so that I don't need to hard code it anywhere. Reason, tomorrow if the port number is changed, my code also needs to change everywhere, wherever that port number is being used. After deployment, the server name will come, the domain name will come. So again, I'll be forced to change it. If I use this, I don't need to make any changes to read my base URL. I'll just query this base element href attribute in order to find out what is the base address of my web application. Understood? With Angular, this was coming by default. In React, it doesn't come by default because it's not required always. In some applications, it's needed. In some applications, it's not needed. That's why it's not there by default. The application we are going to build is going to use it. That's why I added it. Is it clear? Done? Next, close this file and open index.js. That is the logical entry point of your application. Physical entry point is index.html. Here there are a few changes we are going to make. React from React is getting imported. React DOM is getting imported from React DOM client. Index.css already imported. The main CSS file, root CSS file, I would say. App is also imported. And this Web Vitals basically used for the unit testing and the related things is already imported. Don't remove that. I am also going to import a couple of things from my end. So one is the router of my choice from the library as React dash router dash DOM. And what I'm going to import from there is browser router. Then I'm going to import my Bootstrap file. So here I say, again, if you see there is node modules, in that we have something called as Bootstrap folder. Which has dist, which has CSS, which has bootstrap.min.css into it somewhere. That's the path I want to give here. So app slash dist slash CSS slash bootstrap dot min dot CSS. Just make sure both the import statements are configured properly. Here, just before this constant, I'm going to look for base URL of the website. How do I read that? Document dot get element by tag name. What is the tag name we gave? That was base. If you give ID to it, you can also say get element by ID, no problem. And if you integrate jQuery here in this project, with the help of jQuery also you can retrieve this. First element, because base URL probably may have multiple hrefs. So it's an array which it creates, right? In fact, the base element itself might be there multiple times. So I say first element. Anyhow, we have just one element right now. I say dot get attribute for that first element. The attribute that I'm looking to read is href. So whatever is the base URL represented by that percent public URL percent is going to be retrieved and assigned to base URL here. Understood? Root element created over here, and on that we are saying root dot render react dot strict mode app. For now I'm not interested in strict mode. I'll introduce it at a later stage. So I remove this. Rather, I want the app to be rendered inside browser router. As later on I'm going to use the browser routing module here. So I say browser router, base name attribute is set to the variable base URL. So here I say curly brace base URL, and the end tag also I change to browser routing. Save. Done with this file. Just open package.json once and see if we have the entry under dependencies for React Router DOM. React Bootstrap is there, React DOM is there, React Router DOM is not there. What does it mean? I need to have the package installed. So one way of installing this package is I can make the entry directly here itself. Let's say React dash router dash DOM. Then the version which needs to be supported here. Looking for one version older, which is stable version. So I'll say minimum this version or higher. That is 5.1.2. This is tried and tested one. Stable one as well. Understood? I'm also going to need React Router Bootstrap somewhere. So maybe just before React Router DOM, we can create another entry. React dash router dash bootstrap. To integrate with the Bootstrap framework, basically, this is needed. Carrot again, minimum this version or higher. So I say 0.26.0 is the version that I'm looking for. Tried and tested and stable version. There is one more package that I need here to use. So after React scripts, I add it, that is called as React Strap. Provides me the combined functionality of Bootstrap and React. The version of the package I'm looking for is equal to than 9.0.1. Done. Save this. Now because we have added some 4 packages here, which all we added right now. First one, second one, third one. Right? Save this. And as we have added the package here, we have to kill the server process and say npm I or npm install to restore all the new packages. What's wrong here? Let me confirm the versions once. Bootstrap is fine. React. Okay, let's reduce the version of React here. Looks like some compatibility issue. So 17.0.2, I'll use the tried and tested version. And React DOM also I'll use the same. 17.0.2. Save. npm I. Spelling mistake. Bootstrap is fine. Bootstrap is fine. Bootstrap is fine. React scripts. React scripts also I'm changing to 4.0.3. 3 tried tested version, CLS and npmi. Still the same, okay. Create router DOM 5.3.3, it is able to locate. Let me delete node modules once and recreate. If any existing entry is there, that may be conflicting. So I just come to VS Code, right click on node modules and say delete. Move to recycle. It will take some time as it's a big folder. So give any admin privileges if it is asking for, or the simplest way is you can directly go to your application in the file explorer. Like this. And from here also you can delete the node modules folder, so that admin privileges or elevated privileges won't be required. It shows it's deleted. Let's confirm here. Yes, it is. CLS npmi. Oh. What's wrong here? Five point 3.3, it's making it available. Let me try with -force. This also may be a culprit actually, so let me put the compatible versions there as well. 5.16.1, 11.2.7 I'll use here, and 12.8.3. Web vitals also I'll go for 1.1.2. Terminate this. I'll get my node modules once again deleted. Compatibility always is a challenge. I'll also delete this package.lock. Sometimes it creates the conflicts. And then I say cls npm r. Saying React Router DOM should be upgraded to 5.3.3. Let's see. Hope there are no breaking changes into it. So I update this and let's try again. What's wrong again? Here, this one without it. Well, just picking this. I'm just curious about this. Back to this only and see here depth. I guess this time there is no could not found error as such. Once more, I just take a chance deleting node modules. I just want to avoid any conflicts which may be there because of newer versions being present. Unfortunately, it's a big one, takes time. So one bad thing overall about the JavaScript based frameworks is the versions keep on changing pretty quickly. And many times they come up with the breaking changes as well. So that's where this, dealing with the older version sometimes is crucial and required also. You always need to keep on going through the documentation, updating your code for the newer version. Though it's challenging, but that's what it is. You have to deal with it. Okay, so this looks to be set. I'll just say npm start. This is fine. You just need a small update here in index.js. This you can remove and just make it React DOM. Save, and it should compile. Right, so where our application is visible, localhost 5555. I refresh this. Without any errors, I'm able to have this page visible, and more or less the index.html seems to be, index.js seems to be set. Let's close this file. Let's close this package.json also. So I hope the things are working for you guys as well. Yes? Please confirm.
It's not working.
Not working, Saket.
Okay, can one of you share your screen?
Saket, can you share your package.json one?
Yes, here it is.
Okay.
Let me put the entire dependencies configuration in the chat box. You delete your dependencies configuration entirely and paste what I am giving you in the chat box. And before saying npm I, make sure you delete your node modules folder. Right, so the configuration is there, and the command also that should be used is this npm I legacy peer deps after deleting node modules folder. Then it should be all working. Any one of you can share your screen so that we can see the fixes. Yes, anybody sharing the screen?
Saket, while deleting node modules, we're getting this, administrator permission thing.
Yeah.
What is the path where you have created the folder?
It's in C drive, like you created OneDrive.
Okay.
If you remember, Saket, I had this issue in installing.
I remember. So what you do is, just share your screen, I'll guide you.
Go to ID.
A similar solution what we did at that time during the earlier session, we'll go to it.
I guess I'm not in the delete out now.
Not getting the college, just trying to make.
I'm also trying.
We need not delete that known modules, right? Is it, should we delete the known
Yeah,
modules?
I'm trying to delete, it's not happening.
That you need.
Yes, Akhil.
Yes,
I
I'm
can-
sharing my screen. Give me a minute. Where is this?
Yes, Akhil, I can see your screen.
You can see this, right? The thing here, like it's saying.
Node modules, it's not aligned, right? No worries. Cancel this.
Okay.
Go to file menu and say close folder. No. In VS Code, first close folder.
Okay.
Now go to File Explorer. Go to the folder where your project is.
Yeah.
Right. Now what you do is copy everything but not node modules. Select all and then remove node modules from the selection. Press Control key and click on node modules.
Yep.
Control C. Control C.
Yep.
Create a new folder here. Paste.
Yep.
Now open this React API folder in VS Code.
Yep.
So those who are not able to delete the node modules folder can follow the same thing, exactly what we just did. This PC, yeah, C drive, demos, React API,
Yep. And
open package.json.
yeah,
So just make sure it is the same configuration which I have given. Right, name you can change on the top, React dash API it is instead of demo API client.
that's
Wherever else it is used, you can just change that later on. Save this.
let me just
Not many places it would be.
yeah.
Package log JSON you can delete actually. So it's okay if you don't change it there.
Yeah.
Very reason
I
unnecessary.
package.
I think that lobby protect password.
Save.
I click that one.
Log.
Yeah. Go to File Explorer.
Reason and better.
Space. Delete.
Go to File Explorer.
Oh yeah.
That-
Wait.
Already deleted. Fine. Now go to command line. CLS. Go inside the React API folder. npm space I space hyphen hyphen legacy
folder doesn't allow us to delete. Which
hyphen peer
doesn't allow us to delete.
hyphen deps.
Allow us to delete files.
Right.
folder
Enter.
delete permission లేదంటే
అన్నిటికీ ఉండదు సో దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ వి గాట్ దిస్ అప్లికేషన్ రైట్ వేర్ వి ఇట్ ఆస్క్స్ ఫర్ ద రీజన్ వన్స్ వి ప్రొవైడ్ ద రీజన్ ఇట్ విల్
It wasn't happening for a night. What was the reason?
for example we need to have that agent installed on our system.
Okay.
Privilege managers and agent will be installed on our system. We need to close Visual Studio Code to run this.
It looks to be working, Akhil, right?
Yes, okay. I'll update it.
Yeah, so let it finish. It should not take much time. Let it finish. Keep sharing. Done, right? npm start. The previous 4 tabs you can close, no problem. So blank app it is showing, right? Everything is set. The changes which we did, you have already done, right? Save that file, yeah. No, there are some other errors. Yeah, so go to index.html. Index.js, sorry, not HTML. Remove client from line 2 /client. from line 2. Save. Just refresh. Can I see that app component.html? It should be there actually, as now there is no error. Is it saved? The change?
Saved Saket.
Then it should show.
Yeah, let me check with the respective if it's really there.
Okay, React.
The body.
Do you get any error?
Right, so I hope everyone knows what needs to be done, right?
Solve the
But Saket, for me, like I'm getting kind of an white page, Saket.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I mean, I'm getting empty white page. Nothing is displaying on the screen. Is that intended?
No, hello should be visible ideally.
Did you copy paste that package as JSON thing?
As you have put hello into that, right? So it should show hello.
Cannot visual
You got the same error, right? Okay,
Let me just check it again. That would be just allowing me CLS.
intention రావాలని I got the same error.
like React DOM/client. That one.
We need to remove the in index.js.
Okay.
In second line, you'll find the React DOM/client. Remove just the client part.
Okay.
Saket, no errors, but hello is not displaying. Like I'm not so sure.
Yeah, just a moment, just a moment. I'm checking at my end if it is getting displayed or not.
What is it actually? It is showing me like that it is running on some code. Is it showing for you the same?
For me, it's still installed.
Because of our version changes, probably there is something which we need to change. Index.js file most likely. So just small changes. Yes, so it's confirmed. We need that change. So let me share my screen. Till blank screen, if everyone is able to get, that's fine. Right? So I'm sharing my screen. Just confirm once it is visible.
But you not found React
Sure, Saket.
client. For you, it got right. React DOM client is not there.
Visible?
/client.
Yes, Saket.
So open your index.cs. The first change we did was on line 2, React DOM/client. /client we removed, right?
Yeah.
And based on that, there are some changes required here. So this constant that we defined ourselves is required. The rendering part which was there has to go with the old ways. So just comment out this section and replace it with this.
Yep.
Let me put that in chat. So once you put this, after that, if your app.js is having hello into it, I mean within the div, it should display like this. So only index.js is what you need to change.
Yes, now it is getting updated. Saket, I'm
Yes.
getting this edit src app.js. I mean,
Right. Right. So just some syntax changes with the versions, you know. This is the older version that uses this syntax. The newer version 6 point something basically goes with this. And because we installed create react app just now, by default it went to version 6, and that got the initial code created based on version 6 only. So once you upgrade, this is what will start working. There is no problem. Your dependencies also needs to upgrade for that. It's not like that this is incorrect, just that this code is not compatible with the version that we are working with. Got my point? Okay, so all set. We'll take a short little break over here for 20 minutes. Once we resume, we'll start looking at implementing our own components to interact with our backend web API. So just before you go for the break, make sure your Visual Studio has got the API app open. The authorized attribute is commented and it's running. So your Swagger page must also be visible.
yes.
Right? Just keep that ready. So once we come back, we will start implementing the client. Okay? So 420 we will resume.
Okay.
Hey Yogeshwar, how are you?
Hi, Saket. Feeling little better now.
Yeah, effect of medicine.
Effect of medicine, right?
Yeah, rest is the only thing which will help you actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure how come I got this much fever. I
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah, it was a sudden thing for me also that day. So around 3:30, 3:45, I started shivering, and there was temperature.
Okay.
So next 3-4 hours it was very difficult for me. Even after going back to hotel, I was just, you know, uh, not stable. I would say.
Yeah,
So
means if fever is like currently in control, seems to be in control, but
yeah,
yeah, still a bit. I mean, not that much good.
correct. So that hotel guy actually brought the medicines for me, and then after that dose in the night, I was little better in the morning. So before starting the training, there were 2 doses completed already. So I
Uh,
could continue that day.
yeah, I'll just go in evening to see a doctor.
Yeah, better.
Um, yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
So we are in last part, right? We covered
Yeah,
something.
so we are trying to build the application
Mhm.
using React, the same type of application which we did using Angular. The
Okay.
one
Okay.
which talks to the API and tries to utilize the React features as well at the same time, right?
Okay.
And we get complete end-to-end feel.
Okay.
Right? So,
Department API, which
correct.
we built in .NET. Okay. 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 Got it.
So the initial bootstrapping we have just finished. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you can get a copy of that application from someone, and then you can set it up.
Sure. Sure.
Right? So on the top of that, you can build.
Sure. Perfect.
Yeah. So I believe we should start. So shall we proceed, guys? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So thanks for confirming. Here, index.js is no more going to be needed. We can actually get it closed. Whatever changes we required overall, we have already done. So let's close this. App.js you can keep open, as we will be making some changes later on into this. Maybe some of the changes we can do just right now. This logo thing is no more required, so I just comment this. I will need React itself to be imported. So here I say from React, and the object to be imported is React itself. Next, I want to import the React DOM. I say React DOM. This is case sensitive, so just be careful. From React DOM. We are going to need the index.css file as well. So let's say import dot slash css. We're going to need the app class also. No, app rather is here itself. So app.css. Index.css, I guess we can avoid, actually it's already included in index.css, right? So let's remove this. Next is import from router. And the object I'm looking to import is route. Next, I'm going to import from one of the component that we'll be creating shortly. So let's say dot slash, it will be there in a folder named as components by the name layout. The name of the component I'm going to put as layout. Remember, this component is not yet created, so we will be creating it. Another component that I'll be looking for is fetch departments. Again, not yet created. It will be created soon. Departments, and here I say let's go for add department from add department. Until and unless they are not created, they will keep on giving error. So what we will do is we'll keep them commented. But as and when the dependency is available, we will just get it added. Right, and then app.css is there. Optionally, if you want, the index.css also can be imported. Ideally, I feel it's already added. So even if you don't do this over here, that's pretty much okay. On the safe side, as a fail-safe mechanism, if you want, you can keep this. Okay, save. Let's see, there is no compiler error as of now with this change. Anyhow, these are import statements and there is no syntactical error, and the things which could have given us the error are already commented. Yes. So now first we will start with the component called as layout, the structure, how my content is going to be visible. That itself is going to depend on another component called as nav menu, which is going to be like navigation menu, which will allow me to move from one component to another component. Okay, so let's create a folder here under src folder. So right click on src folder, new folder, and name it as components. All of our components will go here. Right click this folder and say new file. Name this file as navmenu.js. If you are using TypeScript language, then it will be .ts. Got my point? It all starts with some import statements. So import React from React. I also want the component class to be imported. So in curly brace, I put component. Then I say import React strap, which allows me to use a combination of React components with Bootstrap. So basically the elements which will have the Bootstrap theme already implemented on them. So the first object is collapse, accordion control if you're aware of, something like that. Then the container, nav bar, navigation bar, nav bar brand, bar toggler, if I go to a small screen or small resolution screen, the hamburger menu will be there. So nav bar will not be there. It will be replaced by hamburger menu. Here the toggler is needed. Then individual navigation items, nav item. And I believe that should be enough. Then import from React router DOM. What I want to import is a class named as link. And then I want to import a CSS file, not created yet. We will be creating it shortly for specifically for this component. So dot slash navmail dot CSS. Why not create this file immediately? So let's right click on components folder, new file, name this as navmenu.css. My first style rule goes here, a dot, that is for anchor. There is a class selector named as navbar dash brand, wherein I say white space should be displayed as normal. Text align should be center. Word break, if space is not available, should be break all. Half word on one line, half word on other line should not be there. It should entirely move to the next line. Style rule is for HTML element. For the entire HTML document, I say font size is 14 pixel. Next, I have a class called as box dash shadow, wherein the rule is setting box shadow space 0.25 rem space 0.75 rem. So these are directions like top, right, bottom. If left is not given, the right value will be automatically taken. So in this case 0.25 will be taken automatically. Then the shadow color, RGBA, RGB with alpha, basically transparency 0,0, 0. So all three components RGB all 0. Comma 0.05 is the alpha value, the transparency level. So black color with transparency or alpha of 0.05. So 95% transparency will be there. There is a media query. So I say media minimum width and dash width, it should be colon 768 pixel means any resolution which is equal to or above 768 pixel will have this style rule applicable. Lower than this will go back to 14 pixel. Higher or equal to this will use 16 pixel as the default font size for the entire document. So that is my navmenu.css. Yes, both the files we added in components folder only. So if it is done, we can proceed. Yes?
1 minute second.
Sure.
Done second.
Okay, so let's close this file and go to navmenu.js where all imports we have already put. Here we'll say there is a component class which is exported so that available throughout the application. It's a class. Alternatively, you can have a function based definition for this object, right? Menu that extends means inherits from the React component. Here I have a static definition or I would say the static member of the class with the name display name equals to menu dot name. The name of the component itself will be displayed. So it's nav menu. Then I have constructor that takes in a parameter named as props. I pass these properties to my base class. Constructor chaining, like in C# we have base. JavaScript being based on Java language uses super keyword. Next, here I have the toggle new nav bar, which I bind to a method with the current object itself. So equal to this dot toggle nav bar dot bind this. The method toggle nav bar is yet to be created. We'll create it. Next, you say this dot state. Remember we spoke about state during the presentation. What did I say? What is state? What is state? With respect to React, represents the values of the different properties of the current component itself, right?
Right.
So here for this component, which is navigation bar, I have just one state property which says whether it is collapsed or expanded. So I can use a Boolean type property for this, isn't it? Collapsed is true, that means it's collapsed. Collapsed is false, means it's expanded. So I'll say it's true. That's the default value. Constructor only has to set the state. Anywhere else, if you look to set the state, prefer using the set state hook. Now, there is a pendency. The toggle nav bar that we are binding to the event here, the method is not yet created. So here I create toggle nav bar method. What it is supposed to do is the state. If it is true, make it false. If it is false, make it true. For that, I say this dot set state to a JSON object that has a property collapsed. What should I set to this? Can I say not this dot state dot collapsed? So whatever is the current value, the not to it will just negate it, right? True becomes false, false becomes true. So proper toggle behavior I get. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Next, every component we said must have a method overridden into it. What was the name? Was it render? So here comes render method, which has to return what needs to be rendered. So return parenthesis, check like a method body, and then all HTML stuff goes here. So I have the HTML tag called as header, in which I create the instance of navbar component. I give a bootstrap class to it with class name attribute. Class name equals to header. Sorry, navbar dash extension dash sm for small, followed by another class, so space navbar dash toggleable dash small, so sm. Background is supposed to be white. ng dash white is the class name, nothing to do with Angular. Border at the bottom end is required, so I say border bottom dash box. In fact, border bottom. Then I want a box shadow for the entire header section, so I say box dash shadow. Implemented. MB-3 at the end, which is for the style, like the direction where the shadow will come in. And then the overall theme that I'm looking for is, these days, you know, we have two types of themes, light and black or light and dark. It's light theme that I want. I create the container component within which I say nav bar brand. Just imagine we are creating a nav bar similar to our MVC application. So we have the top bar, the header, the branding is there where logo goes in. After that, the menu items start, right? We are doing something similar to that. Tag equals to link to where it should redirect when clicked. So I say root of the application slash base URL, and then Here I say slash nav brand. Nav bar brand. Missed is I guess equal to. So put equal to here. The errors will be removed. Text which I want to display here is, I don't have image right now, so I go with text based logo. So I say it's simple text that is basically the title of this application. I can say demo API client, demo department API client. As a text based logo, this will be displayed. Next comes Nav Bar Toggler. On click of which I want to bind to that event nav bar, toggle nav bar, which we have created here. So here I say this dot toggle nav bar. Bootstrap class name, let's say is mr-2. So that will handle whether the hamburger menu needs to be displayed or fully expanded nav bar is going to be displayed. There I have the instance of collapse component with class name equal to, get the closing tag also generated, it becomes easy to track. So class name equals to d-sm-inline flex in space flex sm row reverse and is open event I bind to, rather is open attribute, which is boolean attribute I bind to the dynamic thing. So curly braces, not this dot state dot collapsed nav bar component. There goes an ordered list, which also has got its own class. Nav bar dash nav space dash grow. Then item. So instead of using li, we have nav item class available here, which allows us to create the link. Tag equals to, again I'll say curly brace link to equals the target route. I say slash, that is the base address, fetch dash departments. A route named as fetch departments is what I'm going to hit. Class name I'll say is text dash dark, and the text to display is fetch departments. So that is our nav menu component. Cannot test it immediately because there has to be the main layout component which has to be created first. Before that, it won't be working. So make sure you are done with this. Yes. So if you are able to visualize it side by side, probably you can understand the structure also. Even if not, that's okay. Once we run the application, you will be able to visualize it and then compare the code with it. Is it done?
Yes.
Okay. Now we need to create the main layout. So again, right click on components folder and say new file. Name this as layout.js. Import statements. I'll say import React from React and then comma. I also want to import component. This is going to be the case with all the components rather. Followed by import from React strap. What I want to import from here is container element. Another import statement where I want to import that nav menu component we created in last step. Say nav menu from, it's my own component, right? So I'll say dot slash nav menu. Done. Yes. There goes the component itself. Need to be exported in order to be usable everywhere. The name of the component we are looking for is layout. It's a component, so it has to inherit from component class. So I say extends component. Then we say again static. Display name member is there, which will be the component class name dot name. Then there goes the render function. Which returns some HTML. What it returns is div, which has got nav menu to start with. Below that, the container, wherein it is going to display whatever has been added to the props as children. So I say this dot props dot children. What are child elements that have been added? Save. Done. This layout now needs to be integrated with our app. If it is done, we can proceed.
That's it.
Yes.
Done, right?
Yep.
Let's go to app.js. Some changes required here. We had some import statements that we commented earlier, right? So one of that statement which imports the layout component, just uncomment that. Now layout component exists actually, right? So you can get it imported. That's first change. Then remove this hello if any. Your div should be empty, within which I create the instance of my layout component. And within that, let's put an empty div also for the future use. Save. Done. Compilation probably has been done here. Let's go to the browser where our application is running. You can see something has been built. This is the branding, the logo thing. As we have given text align center, so it's center line. Here is the menu item, fetch departments. Item at least has been created over here, right? As the route is not defined, it's not working. It's not clickable. That's okay for now. We'll be doing it all in step-by-step manner. So can you, this is the visualization. Now can you relate this with what we did in layout.js and navmenu.js? Just do that. Meanwhile, what I do is I just restore this and see I reduce the size. Here I get the hamburger menu. Right? Functionality wise, it may not be working because there are many things to be done. But the UI has started working, right?
Saket, we're getting a blank screen.
Completely blank.
Completely blank.
Okay. So what all things we have done? First of all, we created the nav menu. So just check your nav menu file first.
Yes.
It's in components
Yes.
folder, right?
Okay, yep. Looks good.
Looks good, right? Next
Yep.
week added the component layout.js, which looks like this.
Looks good.
Curly braces and all, right?
Yep.
All balanced.
Yep.
And then the app.js file, where import layout, which was commented, we uncommented first. And then the div, which had hello for some, we replace that with layout and blank div.
Yep. Still not coming.
Right? Just check on the command line if it is showing any error.
Print came. Okay. Let me check the command prompt. Okay. Permission failed. Index.css does not match.
Okay, so can you share your screen? Let me see what's wrong.
Second, give me a minute. I think I found the issue.
Yep.
Use this hamburger menu. Okay, I'm not reading hamburger menu. Fetch details. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Second.
Yes, yes.
Second, can you see the screen?
Okay, so you are getting the logo there.
Yeah, this
Not
but,
completely blank.
Yeah, this
The
fetch.
menu item is not there, right? So go to
Yeah,
nav
fetch.
menu.js.
Yep.
Nav menu.js.
JS. Yep. UL nav tag nav item. 31.
31. It's navbar dash expand dash sm space navbar dash toggleable. I believe spelling could be wrong. Just check. It is TOGGLEABLE
Yes, it's the same.
dash sm. Just check what error it is giving.
No error, Saket. No error.
Okay. Just go back.
Saket,
ngvert.
issue.
Wait. Let me check.
Something should be inside nav item, right?
Yeah, correct. Put fetch departments. The text itself is missing. Fetch space departments. That's the text to be displayed for the menu item. Departments, DPTS. As there will be many department data, na?
Yeah.
Say, and it's visible. Anybody else not able to get this?
Second.
So all are getting this output for now, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's close all the files except app.js here. Meanwhile, I'll share my screen. Okay, integration with this file will keep on going on hand in hand. So just app.js should be always on. The other files, once you are done with them, you can close. Now the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to implement this component fetch departments. So how do we create component here? It's simply adding another file, right? Components folder, right click, new file. Let's name this as fetch departments.js. Added.
Yes, Saket.
Let's start with import statement. I'll say import React from React. And then I also want component to be imported. So here goes component in curly brace. In import link from React router DOM. Just two import statements here. And directly I go for creating my component class. Export class fetch departments. How it ends up? Extends component. See, this is the reason why I wanted the class-based implementation. Here we can see the actual architecture. With functions, you won't be able to see this, the inheritance part and all. It is all handled at the backend by the React system itself. So we don't see this. Understand? So once we are aware of this thing, then going with the function-based components is not a big deal. We just need to adjust to the syntaxes. That's it. The direct example is here. See, this is a component, but is it visible that it is inheriting from component or something? Compared to this, tell me which one is more readable, the class-based definition or function-based? Readability wise, this one is much more better, right?
Yeah.
More explanatory. So once we understand the overall architecture, then it's okay. You can use anything. takes in or communicating with the other components whenever required. We need props. Passes props to the base class for any initialization which is required. I need to set the state for this component. So here goes this dot state property. I initialize it to a JSON object. So curly brace. This component is going to deal with the collection of departments, the array. So I said departments colon square brackets, which means array, and there is another property named as loading of type boolean, which is initially set to true. Departments collection is initially set to blank or empty collection. Then create component did mount function. This is actually already defined in component, the base class. You are just overriding it. This function component did mount by name. Can you guess when it will be running? It's never called by us. It's called by system. So when it will be called? When the component is completely loaded and ready to execute. Right at that moment, this component did mount function is called automatically. This is actually an event handler. Something like on ready or on load. Do you understand?
Yes, okay.
Here I am looking to call an helper function called as populate departments data. Which is going to be the member of this component. Not created yet. And by name itself, it must be clear that it must be a user defined function, right? Like component did mount, we have component did update. When this will be called? Right when the component state has changed. For any reason, maybe with the backend API communication or programmatically the state value has changed, right? Automatically component did update method is called so that you don't need to refresh the page. Here also I say this dot populate departments data is called. It will communicate with the backend API and will get the fresh data displayed on the screen. Done. So what's pending here? Don't you think this populate departments data needs to be created somewhere? I want this method to be created as async method. Populate department data. Let's define a constant here named as response. What it is going to do is going to communicate with my backend API and fetch the data from. So here I say await. We did jQuery Ajax, right? So if you are integrating jQuery here, the same jQuery Ajax statements can be used here. If not, anyhow you are using ECMAScript 2015 or later version. So you have the fetch method available. You just need to pass the URL of your API. Right? So for that, I just go to the browser. Oh, I did close that, I guess. So I'll just run it again. The base URL I want not the Swagger. I paste that base URL here, followed by API, followed by departments, whether it is departments API or department API, that I can confirm from here itself. It's departments API, right? Yes. Then I say const data is equal to await. It's a async function, so I can await response. I want to read as JSON because response will be just HTTP response stream. I want it to be read as JSON object, which I can then say is used for setting the state. Parameters I have to set. I have two parameters, departments, which I'll set to the received data, the JSON data, comma, loading has completed, so I'll set loading to false. Understood till here? I guess it's pretty straightforward till now. Yes or no?
Still typing, sir.
Simple Ajax query going in, receiving the response as HTTP response, converting to JSON, and then putting it into the state property defined here, so that I can use it throughout the page, right?
Okay, they have a doubt.
Yes.
So we're calling populate departments data in component did mount, right?
Yes.
So that means when component is loaded and ready to display, we are running this thing, right?
Correct. So that whenever the component is ready, I want the data to be displayed immediately.
Yeah, but shouldn't it be something like, get the data first and then create the component? Like if the component is created and then let's say we are
Yes.
using something like, in the component itself we'll use,
See,
right, the data.
your thing is correct. Your doubt is correct. But the thing is now here the things are going completely asynchronous. So practically what is going to happen is here the component is mounting, which is creating the shell. And asynchronously data will come. Now data, if it is very heavy, right? Let's say 1 GB data, 2 GB data is getting downloaded. Don't you think it will take a lot of time? Again, that depends on bandwidth as well, right?
Yes.
Till that time, there will be nothing displayed if you say get the data first and then create the components. That's not what we expect these days, right?
But
We want at
be
least the shell to be displayed, and maybe there we show some progress bar or some text which says that okay, the data is still loading, it's coming. Got my point?
Yep.
That is why we are doing it this way, and that is why we made this function also as async. So this will keep on downloading the data on a separate thread. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Now further to that, the render method how we code will answer your question more better. Render method is required for all components, right? Without this, the component is nothing. The view part is basically handled by render, correct? I say there is a variable called as contents. So I say let contents equal to this dot state dot Boolean property. I'm going to use the ternary operator over here. So if loading is true, then I want to display a paragraph with emphasized text that reads as loading dot dot dot. So this is what I was talking about, right? while data is getting downloaded, I'll keep on displaying the message loading, loading, loading. Understand? The moment the loading is finished, the state is being set to set loading equals to false. Means the ternary operator over here will return false. In that case, what I want to do is I want to call another helper method over here called as render departments table. Not created, we'll do that shortly. So the purpose of this method will be to generate the HTML table containing the data. But that should be done when data is available. Right? So while the call is going on, keep on displaying this paragraph. Once the call is finished, data is available, get it rendered into an HTML table and display it. And replace the paragraph. Do you understand? So where is the code for replacing this? That's not yet created. Here goes the code. Div some static content which will always be there. I say ID equals to, call it as table label. Text as departments. There is paragraph again only for our understanding. This component fetches departments data from the server, means API basically. This content will always be visible. Here I also have another paragraph which creates a link. So link to a route titled as add dash department. Class name equals btn dash primary. Should go in double quotes. The link text reads as create new department. So technically link is going to create anchor tag, but with a React routes bound to it. And then here goes the rendering part where I say curly brace contents. So whatever is the value of content, whether this or this, will be injected right over here. This portion will always be there, so that user feels that I am into the application. Do you understand? Yes. So ideally, this div portion, just select that. Okay.
Saket, I'm getting an error saying render should have a return statement.
Yes, that's what I'm changing here. Right. So cut that div, put return statement like this, push it like this, and paste div here. Your error will be gone. I forgot to add return statement. So after this, if you see, there will be no error. Do you get it? Now, just after the render method, but within the class, the component class, there is a pendency. Render departments table is not yet created. Let's create this method. Render departments table. From this, it looks like it should accept a parameter. And there I see departments data is there, so I can name this as departments. Here goes the body. This also has got a return statement. Same way, parenthesis, I push it. And then some HTML which creates the HTML structure for generating the table to get it displayed into your page. That HTML portion, it's little long, so I'm copying and pasting it into the chat box. Just copy and paste it between the parentheses. Oh, it says it's too long. Let me do it in parts then.
Actually, Saket,
What?
you can post it
Yeah.
in snippet. There's an option to post as code snippet. Right?
Okay, so how do we get to that?
Let me in Teams, right? Saket, can you share your screen? Like, put your Teams in here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, code snippet I've never shared, in fact.
Yeah, the first icon, A, and the pencil icon is there at that.
Yes.
There you can, on 3 dots, you can see a code, 3 dots. There will be code.
Yes.
Code snippet.
Code snippet. Okay.
Yeah.
And
We
here,
have,
if I paste, it should come.
Yeah. Insert and then.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Cool. So something new for me as well. Thanks. Very useful. So I hope you have got it.
Oh, yes, Saket.
Just paste it here like this. Let's understand what we are doing here. Table, class name, table stripe, table hover, some effect. This is for backward compatibility in case Bootstrap and CSS3 is not understood. Then caption of the table I'm giving as department list. Table head section. The headers, department number, dname, location, one th empty at the beginning and one at the end, just some decoration. Then here goes t body. Number of records I have to iterate. JavaScript directly comes up with a method called as map for that. I need to mix JavaScript code within HTML. So I start with curly brace section first. Departments.map. This is like for each department in departments. Repeat this. For each department, create a row. Each row should have unique identification. So that is given by key. Department.department number. First cell empty. Second cell showing department number value. Third showing department name value. Fourth showing department location value. Fifth cell is having 2 buttons into it. Some Bootstrap class and their on-click event being handled. In both cases, there is a parameter ID being taken, which will be actually the key of the row. Then we are binding the event handlers. This dot handle edit, we are passing department number. In both cases, handle edit, handle delete, text to be displayed on the button, and that's it. So again, there are 2 dependencies. The method handle edit and handle delete we need to create. Correct? Where it should go? Within render departments table or within the class? It should be within the class. Right?
Exactly.
So let's go for creating the method handle edit first. As per the mapping, it looks to be taking in a parameter representing department number. So I say it takes in department number. What I want is it should go to a different component from a different route, taking in department number as parameter. So here I say this dot props dot history dot push. Here I'm playing with a browser feature, history thing for back and forward buttons. You must be aware of that. The browser must be taking some, using some data structure to maintain the back and forward links, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to utilize here. I say push from current location to a route that starts with the base, reads as edit department, and takes in the department number as the parameter in the route itself. So plus department number. That is it. Again, the thing is, when I click on edit, what I want is the component for edit and save is going to be the same. It just should show the existing data for the selected department into the text boxes so that I can edit and click on update. Same button once again I'm going to use for save and update, like what we did in Angular application. Remember?
Yep.
Here goes handle delete. That also takes in department number. I'm going to use one of the JavaScript feature where it uses a DOM element for some dialog boxes like alert and confirm. Basically to ask the question for confirmation if the user is really looking to delete the record. That is a good practice, right? So here I say if not window.confirm, ask the question, are you sure you want to delete right? A prompt. If user says yes, I'm sure, in that case there will be code. But if he says no, in that case I just want to return from here. So I say return. Oh, parenthesis, one more is required here.
Actually, it's outside. Okay.
Yeah. So I press the enter at a wrong location. Right, so just balance it. Here it starts, here it ends. Confirm starts here and here only it ends. Color coding also helps. Right? But what if he says yes, he wants to delete? So there has to be else block. What else does is again uses the fetch method to communicate with the API. Fetch, where it will send the request to. This is the API. I copy the URL, paste it here. Delete request has to be placed. So delete request is taking a route parameter at the API level as well. So I put slash plus parameter department number value, comma. How do I make it a delete request? So here goes the second parameter, which is a JSON object that sets method colon delete. Related with the jQuery thing. If this is successful, then I will be looking for receiving some input. That is department object that is deleted. The way how the API is created. After deleting, that same deleted record is getting returned as well. Right? So that if undo operation is required, can be done. So here I say data is captured. Then lambda arrow function, curly braces for the arrow function body. Press enter between the curly braces. And here you say this dot set state. What I should be setting it to? Again, object. There are two parameters, data, which will be this dot departments, existing departments, on which I add a filter. Filter we have used in the past, right?
Yes.
All records to be displayed, but not the one which just got deleted. So filter takes in parameter D for department. Again, lambda arrow. Yes.
So instead of doing this one, Saket, can we make a get call so that we are pretty sure that like record is deleted?
We can, but that will be a second round trip to the server, right?
Yeah, but it will give more accuracy, right?
This will also be equally accurate because here, when you are fetching the record for delete operation, it's actually returning you the data that got deleted.
Okay.
So you just need to filter the local copy of it
Okay.
to avoid this data. That's it. So it will be accurate, equally accurate.
Okay, sure.
No second round trip in this case, right?
Yeah.
Goes lambda arrow, curly braces.
Saket,
And
Saket,
yes.
if the delete API call returns the final data,
Yes.
then instead of using a filter, can't we just say set state data?
That is only one object that got deleted, not the complete collection. Because when I say delete, I don't want complete collection to be returned, no?
Oh, okay. Only the deleted one will return?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Got it.
So I don't want burden on the bandwidth also, right? That will not be optimized behavior, correct? If I return the complete collection. Imagine you have 2 GB of data. Right now it's okay, you have 3-4 records only, it doesn't make any difference. But when you have 2-3 GB of data being downloaded, it will make difference, isn't it? Right? So just put it this way. We have filtered out the data which is deleted. So the current local version will omit it and will display the remaining records. And save it. So before testing this, we again need to update Arcgis to include it. Yes or no? Also, we are using some routes. So don't you think the route configuration is also needed? Yes. Here we are looking for edit department. Then also somewhere we are looking for add department. Right? Fetch department itself is the route being used. Yes or no?
Yep.
In the previous component itself, fetch department was there, right? Route was not created, that's why our menu item was not activated. Correct? Okay, I guess I closed that page, so I'll just browse. Localhost 5555. This was not working, right?
Yep.
Okay, so once, okay, just confirm if you're done with this.
Yes, Saket.
Go to app.js. The changes which we require here include importing fetch departments component because now it exists. Yes. Here we create some route entries. Route exact equals first the route path itself. If there is no route mentioned, only the domain name is there, where I want to go. If I have a separate homepage component, then it's okay. But if I don't have one, I may be looking for one of my own components. So by default, I want to go to fetch departments here. I say go to fetch departments. I just bind to it. If the route base URL slash departments is explicitly asked for, then also I want to go to fetch departments. There will be two more routes required here, but our component is not ready, so it will fail. Maybe what we can do is we can get them added and we comment them. So here I say there is next route whose exact path is to start with slash add department. We are using it at one place, right? Where we want the future component called as add department. And I'm looking for another route for edit department. Edit department usage, if you see here, it is taking in a parameter, department number. So I need to make the route also like that. Here I say slash colon, which parameter by what name it takes. So after colon, whatever is taken is the route parameter. And I want to still go to add departments component only. As this add department doesn't exist right now, this will fail to compile. Hence, I comment these two routes. Save. No compiler error. And here, if we see, we have a nice UI. If I click on this logo, I should come here. If I click on this fetch departments, it should be working as well. Departments. Yes. Somehow the page was not refreshed. I just refreshed it and the link has started working. As the route is there now. Yes. Create new department. Will try to go to add department, but it doesn't show anything because the component doesn't exist. Edit also same behavior because the component doesn't exist. But one important thing, see, it added the department number with the change route. And if I say delete, it asks me the question. If I say cancel, it doesn't do anything. But if I say delete and say okay, the department should get deleted and it gets refreshed on its own. Yes.
Yes.
You can confirm this by going to Swagger and calling the get API. That only 4 records are there. That means from server side also it has been removed, right?
Arcgis, it keeps on says loading. They're not getting the table.
Okay. Let's check the code.
Okay.
From here onwards, you have to check it.
And
Is your API running?
the API is running fine. I just checked it in Swagger. It's working fine.
And also check the port number there. And check the name of the API as well. So if code is all okay, the only issue could be with the port number or the name.
Still the same issues.
Okay, share your screen.
Saket, can you once show the app.js file?
Sorry, come again.
Can you please show app.js file?
Yes, sure. So we just added the 4 routes, out of which 2 routes we kept comment. Yeah, so are you sharing your screen?
Yes, Saket. Saket, is the screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I'm not getting any errors here.
Yeah, so compilation is not the issue. Here it's
Yeah.
saying.
And then if you see here, it's loading and it keeps on loading. If you see here Swagger, if I execute it, like so fast.
I understand.
The code seems to be fine as well. The API.
44434. Just go to Swagger and confirm.
Yeah, I just copied it from there. So
44434, and the API name is departments API only. So that is all okay.
yeah.
Response.
Data loading is false, right?
Yes, once it comes back, it is supposed to be
False.
false. Say this dot set state on line 21.
This one?
This dot set state, set. Yeah, there has to be function call. Save, refresh. Check the command line also for any compilation errors, if any.
No error.
Do one thing, stop the server and start it again. Let the compilation be happening from beginning. Yes. So that was the mistake. Yeah, that was the mistake. Instead of set state, you called state.
Okay.
And state is a property, whereas set state is a method.
Yep.
And ideally, state should be set only within constructor with the property. Right? Anywhere else, it should be set state. Got my point?
Yep.
So I hope it's working.
Yep.
Looks nice, right? So now you can close your fetch departments.js file also. So just confirm if my screen is visible again.
Yes, okay.
The delete API call is a mistake.
What is pending now?
But then delete.
Add API.
Add department component is pending, right? So let's go ahead, right click components folder, say add new file, name as add department.js. Let's say import yak comma component react. Here we are going to use the local model class also. So let's create the local model class first of all. I could create this in a separate JS file also, no problem. Just for simplicity, I'm creating it here. Export class department. There is constructor for it. Where I say this dot department number equals to the initial value is 0 being number. This dot name, that is d name, equals empty string. This dot location equals empty string. This is model class. And then goes the component itself. Export class add department extends constructor takes in props, first line of code being super, right? Implementation I'm not going to do right now. We'll be looking at the implementation, further implementation tomorrow morning. But yes, there are a few important things. The component now exists. What does it mean? Can I go back to app.js and uncomment this line of code? Add department is there now, right? Yes. Which also mean I should be able to uncomment this. There is no error. If I see on the command line after making these changes and saving, there is absolutely no error here. As the component exists now. Yes or no? Okay, so the further implementation for add department JS, that's the only thing which is pending. App.js is also fully configured now. No more changes will be needed here. It's add department JS implementation only, which does all API communication for post and put request is what we are supposed to see. So that's what the first thing we'll see tomorrow morning. And then there onwards we'll be moving into the combination of Angular with React, and then there will be a small case study that you will be shared with, which you have to implement in next 15 days, starting from day after tomorrow. Right? So hope you enjoyed the session today as well.
Yes, excellent session, Saket. Thank
Just one thing, like in between we had some hiccups setting up the React application, but I found that if that is done before we proceed with the final implementation, if we fix that later on, we can save time, right? So we can focus and concentrate entirely on the actual implementation part. Yes.
Yes, Saket, sure.
Sakit.
So that's it for today, and see you tomorrow same time, 10 a.m. And just one request, like everyone should be connecting individually. Yeah, even if you are using projector or the common screen, at least for your attendance purpose, you should be connecting individually as well. You can keep your machines on mute if required. Make sense?
Yeah, sure, Saket.
As Prabjot and his team members also keep on connecting in between and they check who is present, who is not. So better to connect individually. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So bye bye for now. See you tomorrow at 10.
Thanks, Saket. Thanks, Saket. Bye.
Thanks, Sakit.
Thank you, Saket.
And Yogeshwar, please take rest and go and visit doctor. Take medicines.
Yeah, sure. I'm going right now.
Yeah, better.
Yeah.
Right, because again there are multiple diseases also these days going on, so it should not get mixed up, right?
No. No, it should not be
Yeah,
that.
it's better to be on the safer side, no?
Right. So I took medication right now. It is in control, but it seems that something additional is giving problem. So
Yeah,
I'll
so
just go to doctor.
yeah, doctor actually helps.
Yeah, right, Saket.
Yes.
Saket,
Okay.
just send me
Yeah.
the build file if you can.
Yes, I'm just uploading it right away.
Hmm.
And I guess the OneDrive link also is shared. If you want, I can share it right now
Yeah, sure.
once again. So it will take some time to get uploaded. Maybe after half an hour or so, you can just check it.
Yeah, sure. Means I just need a OneDrive link, uh, and after that I can access. So,
Yes, just give me a moment.
so it is accessible right now. We are not facing any issue.
Yeah, the direct OneDrive link is accessible. That one.drv is not accessible for some reason.
Okay.
We just tried once because ultimately within the organization you guys are already using OneDrive, right? So technically
Right.
that domain should not be blocked.
Right. I'll just check right now.
Yeah, this is the link and I'm just uploading the current content
Yeah.
also.
You can take your time. Just I'm verifying the link if it is accessible or not.
Yes, just
I
check.
think it is. It is. Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Okay. But there is nothing. So you need to provide.
The current application may not be there. The demo API client must be empty, right?
Okay. Okay.
Rest
Meanwhile, I
everything
got
is
one
there.
prompt for unfreeze your file. I just click on unfreeze. It could take 24 hours to unfreeze your account.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not sure what it, I just got prompt to unfreeze. I just click it and
Yeah,
now
it may be
it's
some organization policy, network policy.
okay.
Anyhow, I've started uploading,
Okay.
right? So it should be completed in another half an hour or so.
Sure, Saket. I'll check today, maybe after 8 o'clock.
Once you are back from doctor, maybe you can check.
Yeah, right.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, Saket. Thank you. Bye bye.